Hello and welcome to Glastire's 2024 Fall Preview. I am Brandon Zek.
I'm Gabriel Martinez.
We're standing in front of a wonderful Mel Chin sculpture behind the Contemporary Arts Museum, Houston. We're here because the CAM is one of our picks on this list today. I feel like we need to do a little bit of a preamble like we always do with a fall or spring preview. There are a bunch of wonderful shows opening across Texas this fall. This is just a very small selection of the smattering of institutional and gallery shows that are coming up. But these are some of the ones that really stuck out to myself, Gabriel, and the rest of our staff. So with that, we will get started. These picks are also in no particular order. So to start off, the Contemporary Arts Museum Houston this November is opening Vincent Valdez, Just a Dream. So this show, it's an exhibition of works by Texas artist Vincent Valdez. I'm sure many of y'all are familiar with that name. He grew up in San Antonio, lived for a while there once he kind of graduated from school, lived in Houston for a bit. This is a big show. This is a big deal. It's being co-organized by the CAM and Mass MoCA. At CAM, it's Patricia Restrepo, the curator, who's organizing it. This is going to be a big exhibition. It seems like it's going to be the entirety of the museum, the upstairs and downstairs galleries. I feel like it's been a long time, maybe not since the Dirty South exhibition, that we've seen a show fully take over this museum. And I can't even remember off the top of my head the last time it was a single artist that got the whole space. It's going to be a show, it's kind of a mid-career survey. So it's going to be some new work, some older work. I'm not sure if they're borrowing the KKK paintings from the Blanton, although I hope those might make an appearance. But Vincent is known as a great painter and maybe even better draftsperson. So this has been something that I've heard the rumbles of throughout Houston for a little while, that this was in the works, and I am really looking forward to the show.
It's going to be a great show. He's very deserving, and I can't wait to see a ton of work that I've never seen before. Okay, next up on our list is Amalia Mesa Baines at the San Antonio Museum of Art. That opens on the 20th of September and runs through the 12th of January 2025. It's a touring exhibition, and I'm very excited about this. I can think of no one more deserving of such a large retrospective. These are works from 1991 to 2024. I think I first saw her work in 91 or 92. She is a cornerstone of Chicano work, and she will be giving a talk on September 20th with Tomás Ibarra Frausto, who is the other cornerstone of Chicano artwork. It will be live streamed, and I've already put that on my calendar because I'm excited about both. I can't wait to see this show. She won a MacArthur in '92. It is long overdue for her show.
She's known for kind of bringing like altar type works to museum settings, right?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of how she pioneered a thing that a lot of other Chicano artists ended up taking on?
It's so true. I mean, the earliest works were these altars, and to this day there's work on display in Houston right now of altar work. So it's been very, very influential, and I think it's always important to see the source of so much artistic creativity in one space.
Next on our list is in Dallas at the Nasher Sculpture Center. It's a show of works by Hugh Hayden called Homecoming. It opens in September. It's up through January. We've seen a little bit of Hugh Hayden over the past couple years. The Blaffer Art Museum in Houston hosted a show a couple years ago. I actually just saw a very talked about show that he had in New York at Listen Gallery. And this work coming to the Nasher, Hugh Hayden is from Dallas, so that's part of why it's called Homecoming. It's going to be a show, some older work, some new work. The big kind of centerpiece, it seems, of this exhibition is going to be his recreation of like a playground structure that he was familiar with from his childhood in a suburb of Dallas. Hugh Hayden is a very good artist who uses materials to his advantage. He's a good craftsperson. A lot or most of the work in this show is going to be made of carved wood. Mm-hmm. He's kind of almost part of the surrealist tradition that's really popped up a lot in the last couple years, but his work's a little unsettling. It's almost could be comparable to like Mona Hatoum's in a way. There's a lot of elements to it, and it's really well made, but it makes you feel not quite right. I really liked his show in New York. The Blaffer show was amazing, and this is definitely going to be one of the standout shows of the fall.
I'm very excited to see this show and more work by Hugh Hayden. This looks like works that I haven't seen displayed before. The show at the Blaffer was really phenomenal. He's an artist that has impeccable craft and chooses materials, usually native wood from Texas, that adds to the meaning of the work, and it's just phenomenal. Okay, next up on the list is Native America in Translation at the Blanton Museum. It's the only group show on our list,
right,
and it runs August 4th through January 5th. It's curated by artist Wendy Redstar. It is one of the ones I'm most excited about. I think there's 9 artists in the show. Each of them is really amazing. Some of different eras. It consists of 9 artists. They're all very interesting artists. Some I've seen, some I have never heard of. Guadalupe Maravilla, Martin Gutierrez, who had a show at the Blaffer last year or the year before maybe.
And I think had a prominent a solo show at the Fort Worth Modern too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dwayne Linkletter. There's 9 artists total, and this is one of the ones I'm most excited about.
It's mostly kind of photo-based work, or artists who have a photo sort of practice, but then also work in, like expanded media and installation and that kind of thing.
Yeah, altered photographs. Kind of like the work of the curator, Wendy Redstar.
This is also the only show on our list that is already up. I feel like in the past couple of years, a lot of museums have kind of shifted their the ways that they do shows, and sometimes they are opening earlier in the summer, sometimes they're opening later in the fall. One show that's on our list later is going to be up for like 8 months or something like that. So we're always happy to pick a show if it's a big show like this that's important, even though it's already up. Next up is a show at Ballroom Marfa, Julie Speed, The Suburbs of Eden. So the show's opening in September. It'll be up through February, so you have a lot of time to get to West Texas to see it. This is kind of, I guess you could call it a homecoming. Julie Speed has had a couple shows around Texas, even over the past couple years. But, for years she has lived in Marfa. This is a show of like 70 some odd works. Paintings, drawings, collages, kind of running the gambit of her practice. Julie is an artist. I feel like that's the best way to describe her. She is truly an artist in all that she does. If you've ever had the pleasure of visiting her studio, there is work everywhere. She's always working on multiple different things. All of her craft here also is great. I really am a big fan of the collages. I think the way that she is able to take elements and manipulate them together into cohesive stories and images is really something special. So she's one of our great Texas collagists. And this exhibition is going to be a really nice opportunity for her to get some recognition in what is now her hometown. And the show is organized by Fairfax Dorn, Holly Harrison, and Alexandre Sushels.
All right, last but not least on our list is Tacita Dean at the Menil Collection. It will run it's called Blind Folly, and it will run from October 11th to April 19th, 2025. Again, plenty of time to see this show. It is the first U.S. museum retrospective of her work, which I had to double check on because that seems amazing.
Yeah.
Long overdue. I know her work mostly from her 16 millimeter films. I've seen a bunch of them installed. They're often installed, on a loop in a very sculptural sort of manner. They're really phenomenal, and I really look forward to spending more time with them because they're kind of complex.
There's going to be like a rotating gallery of them for this show.
Exactly, yes. So hopefully there will be a bunch of them. But the show is largely works on paper, on slate, on chalkboard, on carbon paper. It's a lot of her drawings. and altered photographs with gouache. So I've never seen that work. I'm really excited to see this whole other body of work that she produces. I think it will be a phenomenal show, and I look forward to the weather cooling down and getting to see some artwork.
Well, and it seems like there's also going to be, which would make sense with the first major U.S. Exhibition or retrospective. There's going to be a little bit of like studio processes of this work. Mm-hmm. Like it seems like there's going to be some smaller scale pieces, some things that are like a little more
intimate,
experimental, intimate, which is going to be a nice side to see that in addition to this larger scale stuff.
Yeah, and there will be a catalog published in 2025 as well.
And then also, Michelle White is curating the show, and she'll be doing the catalog. And the show's going to be capped off, or at least maybe in the middle of its run, by the 30th anniversary of the Cy Twombly Galleries, which the Menil is working on some sort of publication with Tessa Dedeen in conjunction with that. So I think that's probably one of the reasons this show is running so long, so that it can overlap a little bit into next year in that celebration. But it'll be interesting to see what she gleans from this building that, we as Houstonians have access to every day. And that is our list for this fall. Like we said at the top, there are a ton of wonderful shows coming up. Make sure and check our event listings. There's a ton of even museum shows that we weren't able to get to on this list. There's the Texas Biennial coming up in Houston and at other venues across Texas. There are multiple museum shows. There are a ton of gallery shows. It seems like everyone's kind of kicking it back into gear this fall.
Yeah.
Like on our list, there's a ton of solo museum presentations that are really ambitious. There's a lot of others that are exactly the same that we weren't able to include. So with that, take a look. We hope you have a wonderful fall. We hope it cools down a little bit. And we hope you have the chance to go see some art.